Hi everyone, Emma here. So I'm just about to finish work. A quick update around what's happening with the financial assessment. And the short answer is nothing yet. I haven't received any letters from the financial assessor. She said she was going to send me a form to do to put down the disability related expenses. If you haven't got a clue what I'm going on about, then hop back to my channel and watch the video called, let me just check one sec. So it's called NHS CHC funding versus local authority funding. Is it fair? And that's where I talk about a surprise realization that kind of came from a conversation where I realized that some people are with a disability are being funded by the NHS and they don't have to pay any care contribution, and others are getting funded by social services, and in which case they have to pay a care contribution. And it was big news to me, and it sent me in a tailspin because my daughter who has Down syndrome has last week, well actually it was a week before last on a Friday, had a financial assessment to see how much she needs to contribute, and no direct disability related expenses were included in that. Now I've done loads of research over the last week. I think it was like 8, 9, 10 days ago maybe now that I found this out. So I've done loads of research around disability related expenses and what can be included and what can't. And yet again, what I've discovered is that it's different from council to council. Some councils don't charge anything even though they can. Some councils do charge, and they charge the top amount of what the government says a person, government says like what a person needs to be left with, which is their minimum income guarantee, and after that the council can take the contribution of what's left. And some do that and some don't do that. So once again, it's like a postcode lottery for disabled people on where they live and how their councils respond to things. Now my bugbear today is and I just like been thinking and processing and researching and watching things, and so my bugbear today is that why isn't it like a matter of course that councils, when they know you're gonna have a care assessment and they know it's gonna come from social services rather than the NHS, and they know that they're gonna want a contribution, why at that point are they not giving you all the information about what a financial assessment is, how one gets conducted, and all the information you need around disability related expenditure? Now you could be cynical and go, well, they don't tell you because they don't want you to know about disability related expenditure, because expenses, or whatever it's called, because they want you to pay the contribution, because they need the contribution, because their adult social care bill is very high and they need that to be able to afford everything. And that's fine. I get that. Again, not our problem as carers and mums or representatives, advocates. The law is there for disabled people, so it's not like we're not trying to get anything we're not entitled to. So morally and ethically, you would think that a council would have to fully inform you about what your rights are around the disability related expenses lead you, you know, say you can get information here, you can get information here. These are the things that can be included. So, you know, like I found a website that's super helpful, a couple of websites, and I will add the link in the description. So you can go to that and have a look. There's a calculator, and the calculator I found quite tiresome to use. It's like an AI based calculator, and it is a little bit laborious, but like it is helpful for, you know, getting an idea of what you can include. And we're not here talking about trying to, like, you know, get things that we're not entitled to, or the disabled person isn't entitled to, but it's around really thinking about what is a disability related expense. And so it's like, you know, things that are an expense purely because of your disability. And, you know, again, AI is super helpful for helping you to, you know, find and that particular calculator to just like get into the mentality. Because as parents, you know, if you're a parent and you're advocating for your child and you've like brought them up, it's sometimes really hard to think what that is, because like you might just be like so used to it and so close to it that you can't think. You're like, oh well, they don't have any that are like a direct reason, out of a direct reason. Sometimes they're really easy to pinpoint and find out, and that might be like, you know, medical equipment, that if they need like extra things for, say, mobility aids, or there's extra cost somewhere around, they may be really easy to find. And sometimes things are more subtle, and like you've just grown up with doing that extra thing or buying those extra things. So for instance, like, you know, my daughter, she has Down syndrome, and because she has like coordination issues and things like that, or she's just like lacks an awareness of spatial awareness and things like that, she can like really, like, you know, she can wear something and 5 minutes later she's got a thing down it, she's eating, it's all going down her, she's, you know, put her elbow on the table and not realizing the sleeve is all in the dinner. Oh, just kind of quite a messy eater. And you could just go, oh, she's a messy eater, but actually, because she has Down syndrome and there's those cognitive things, then that is a direct what's the word I'm looking for, in a direct relation to her her disability. And I, you know, other people her age wouldn't really have that. You know, we kind of, some people are a bit messy, but like not as a, you know, you have accidents, you get your tomato ketchup down you for sure, but not every time you eat. And so because of that, because she has that, you know, something that might not like be obvious is like that, you know, she needs to buy more hoodies. You know, she's always in a hoodie and they get stained really quickly, and so therefore she needs to buy more hoodies because of her disability, as a indirect relation to her disability, and less obvious things. Now, also what I've been reading a lot about is like how councils may say that, oh, it's our policy that we don't pay for that. So I had it in Surrey like years and years ago, where I was trying to like get Ashley, you know, she wanted to go on holiday. She wanted to go on holiday without family. She wanted to go on her own, you know, with a support worker to support her to go on holiday. And and there was like enough money in her personal budget and direct payment left to cover the holiday. So not to pay Ashley's, we weren't even asking to pay for Ash's holiday or anything like that. What we're asking for is to pay the carer's portion of the holiday, the transport, and the carer's portion and expenses of the holiday out of the direct payments. You know, I didn't really know about taking it off the care contribution at that point. You know, wasn't what I was going for. I was trying to get it added into the care plan at that point. And they were like, oh, we don't do that. We just don't do that. There's a blanket. But there has been court cases, like there was a court case that I referred them to at that time, which I can't remember. And there's been court cases, trial cases and court cases since that have said, you know, councils cannot just have this blanket thing of we do not do that. You know, the Care Act says that things have to be unique and individual and personalized. So they have a duty to look at every individual case and say, and to on its merits or not, to say whether things can be included either in the care plan or, you know, built as, or to say this is a direct a disability related expense. And of course that is a disability related expense. You know, Ashley wanted to go on holiday. The carer's portion, you know, is a disability related expense. If she didn't have a disability, she could go on her own. She could go with mates. She could go, you know, she could still go with mates, but, you know, she needs somebody to look out for her. Whereas you don't really need that when you're like a 30-odd-year-old woman and you can just go on your own if you want to. She can't do that. She can't manage that. She can't do that. She would be unsafe, and it's not, and, you know, her care needs would not be met. And so she would be vulnerable. And so therefore, the holiday, if she wants to go on a holiday, absolutely needs to be, you know, a disability related expense. But yeah, so anyway, back to like the point of what I was going to say. I got sidetracked, and these videos are way longer than I ever imagined them to be, and they jump around, so really sorry about that. But like, yeah, so I was just like, I don't know, like things like bug me, and I'm just like sat outside in the sun today having a coffee, and I'm just like, you know, surely they shouldn't be allowed, councils shouldn't be allowed to like not tell you about things just because they don't want you to claim for what's legally rightfully yours. You know, the Care Act says these disability related expenses are legally, you know, you have a legal right to them if they are true disability related expenses. And so I don't understand how councils get away with not telling you about it and not fully informing you, and why it is that you've got to then go out and research everything, find the resources, find the information, find all the things that like, so you know what your rights are. I don't know. It's like, it just feels like very morally and ethically wrong that they're kind of leaving out information and hoping you don't discover it so that they can, you know, get the contribution in, when they absolutely know that you have a right to, you know, get those contributions down if you qualify for these disability related expenses. So yeah, I'm going to be like writing to my local elected councillor around this and saying, you know, let's play fair. Let's play fair. Let's not like encourage or let the council get away with, you know, pretending they're allowed to have these blanket bans. They're allowed to not include certain things, you know, that they get to decide all these things if it's outside of actually the legal framework or the recommendations of like the Care Act, the Disability Act, you know, all the things. So I'm going to write to my local representative And just an update on where I'm at. I've also written to some contacts I have in social services that were helping with the care plan, to say that, you know, because like what happened with like our case is that like the direct payment money cannot be released until we agree to the financial assessment, which means that my daughter cannot go ahead and employ a PA. She can't go ahead and get the money that she needs to meet her care needs. And so we're at an impasse again. And it's already been months, 4 months or something since the care assessment, and waiting all this time. You know, we're having to support her. She's not getting her care needs met. And I don't want any more delays because of this red tape and bureaucracy. So I've basically said, you know, they have the ability to waiver or defer payment of the financial assessment. And I've asked for that so that the money the personal budget can be released and we can start advertising for a PA. And whilst, you know, we kind of try and get these disability related expenses like approved, or and to then get a true representation of how much contribution she needs to make. I hope all that makes sense. Bye for now.